All right, today we're going to try to etch this brew kettle. And as you see here, I've got magnets. These are rare earth magnets. I've got actually one on this side and one on the back side. And so when I fill it with the gallons of water, I'll just slide these up and down to note the watermark for each gallon. I'm going to do that. Let me start with 1 gallon. I have a gallon here. You can see I can mark it on the side so I know exactly where a gallon is. Okay, and now what we'll do is we'll just slide the first magnet to the watermark, wait for it to steady a bit. Now you don't need magnets on the other side, you can just be magnets on this side. It will stick to a brew kettle, but it's a little more solid if you put one on each side. And you have to worry about hitting them and having them go off your mark if there's a little more magnetism holding it together. So I think that's about right. Wait for it to steady. This will be exactly right. If you're a few milliliters off when you're brewing, it's not going to have that big of an effect. Okay, I'm going to mark for each one of these, and then I'll come back. Okay, we put 8 markers in. We're putting the 9th. This is a 10-gallon kettle, so we'll just put 9 markers. I don't think there's really any need for the 10th. I'm going to add the last gallon of water. Now, looks like I was pretty close with my estimate. And you can take this right here, and you can just adjust it from the back where the other magnet is. And get to about the halfway point on the magnet. That's where we'll draw our line. And some people use pencils or crayons or grease pencils to make their line markers, the gallon markers. But obviously that leaves a residue you have to remove later on, so I like magnets. I'm going to drain the kettle and start putting black electrical tape where I want the lines to be. And I'll show you that in just a moment. So I totally overshot my mark on my last gallon marker. I double filled the kettle accidentally, so it's actually 2 gallons instead of 1 gallon. So I drained 1 gallon out, remeasured it, and show you why using magnets offers a lot of flexibility when making the markers. If we used a grease pencil or a crayon or a pencil, obviously we have a mark there we have to remove. But with magnets, we can just slide it down from the original position to where we want it to be. Right there. And now I'll begin making my markers with black electrical tape. As you can see here, I use the magnets to space out my lines and electrical tape to basically make the lines. I also bought these little sticker stencils. So there'll be numbers that will go besides the lines. It'll let me know how many gallons is in the kettle. In the process of removing the magnets, and then once I do that, I'm going to clean this with alcohol, and then we'll start etching. So I'm going to make sure this is really nice and sealed on there. So use your thumb and kind of press that in there. Make sure there's no gaps. If you put your numbers, do that as well over here. And then what I'll do is I'll take some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Just dip it in there. I'm just going to clean these spots. Just make sure the surface is free of any sort of contaminants. And I'll be back in a moment. Okay, and here's the magic part. What we've got here is a 9-volt battery, and we have one of the poles connected to the kettle and another connected to this Q-tip here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dunk this Q-tip in a solution of vinegar and salt. You can use any kind of salt, table salt, kosher salt. And the ions in the salt and the acid in the vinegar and the electrical current is going to actually corrode the kettle just slightly. It's not enough to damage your kettle. What will happen is once you've done this, the part you've corroded will oxidize very quickly within a minute or two. And all it will do is remove the sheen of the kettle. So you'll just see those marks. Look kind of cloudy, kind of reflective, but not, it won't damage your kettle in any way. So what you do is you just dip your Q-tip in there. If I can get it in there. You dip in your solution. And there's no real wrong mixture. I've heard a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Any amount of salt you want to put in there is fine. Okay. And it's only actually working when you have touched the kettle. So get the excess off. And then what I'll do is I'll put in here and I'll put on my line here and I'll give it a few seconds. I'm going to do this for the numbers and the lines, and I'll show you guys in just a moment. Last part here, you can see here we take our vinegar and our salt, we dip our Q-tip in it with one end of the wire attached, one wire to one pole. The other pole is connected behind the tape on the other side of the kettle. And we just hold it against the kettle. I'm going to switch the lid here. And touch it there. And 5, 10, 30 seconds. The process is fairly quick. Okay. Now I'm going to remove the tape. And we'll see how our etching went. Okay, we're done. You can see here you have these sections here that are a little shinier. Kind of a little faded look to them, and that's our actual gallon markers, and they're fairly clear, and there actually is numbers on the side. I think you can kind of see the 6 here. It's nothing major. Like I said, it doesn't really damage your kettle at all, so there's no harm in trying to do this. Good luck.